Have you ever felt like getting the financial data you actually need is less like flipping a switch and maybe more like digging through a mountain with a tiny spoon?
Oh, absolutely.
Because, in today's finance world, the real cost might not just be the effort involved. It could be the critical insights you miss or the decisions you just can't make quickly enough.
Right. The delay is the killer.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into automated ELT, specifically looking at tools like Fivetran and how they're, well, supposedly transforming how finance teams get and use their data.
And it's a massive challenge they're tackling, isn't it? I mean, financial data, it comes from everywhere. You've got transaction logs, compliance reports, market feeds, your CRM.
All over the place.
Yeah, and it's usually stuck in these different silos.
Yeah.
Just connecting it all, keeping it fresh, making it, usable for analysis. Historically, that's been this huge ongoing engineering lift.
A constant build and maintain cycle. A real headache, I imagine.
Yep.
Okay, so we've dug into some sources on this. Our mission for this deep dive is to really cut through the marketing buzz and figure out what the actual return on investment is. For using something like Fivetran, specifically in finance. What are the sources telling us is the core payoff?
Well, what's really interesting and maybe a bit surprising is that the main takeaway isn't just about, say, cutting down engineering hours. That's definitely a part of it, sure.
Okay.
But the research suggests a much wider ROI. Fundamentally, it's about accelerating your time to insight, getting clean, reliable data to your financial analysts faster.
So they can actually do their analysis, not wait for the data.
Precisely. It empowers the people who need the information, not just the folks building the pipelines.
Makes sense. But it does help the engineers too, right?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
It frees them up significantly. Think about it, instead of constantly patching up these fragile, custom-built data pipelines, which, let's be honest, break all the time.
Always brittle.
Right. They can shift their focus to higher value stuff.
Yeah.
Like building more sophisticated financial models or, really importantly, implementing the robust data governance you need for compliance.
And that shift, that focus change, boosts reliability overall.
Dramatically. Because these automated connectors, they're designed for resilience. They handle things automatically that used to cause constant manual fixes.
And this automation piece, that's really central to the reliability claim then.
Totally essential. Think about the nitty-gritty, tedious stuff. Systems are always changing formats slightly. Maybe a source adds a new data column or renames one. That's called schema drift.
Right, I've heard that term. Nightmare for custom code.
Exactly. Or dealing with API quirks, where different software just talks to each other in slightly non-standard, annoying ways.
A little inconsistencies.
Now, automated ELT tools are built to just handle that stuff. They adapt. So syncing critical systems like, say, NetSuite, Salesforce, Stripe,
Yeah.
it just happens reliably without someone constantly watching and tweaking.
Okay, and for finance teams where accuracy and, well, audit trails are everything, that automation must be huge.
It provides immense peace of mind. Automating that synchronization, handling the drift, it directly strengthens your data integrity and your readiness for audits or regulatory checks. It's less about if the data moved and more about knowing it moved correctly and consistently.
So let's connect the dots. You've got this unified, reliable data flowing smoothly thanks to automation. What does that actually let finance teams do better or differently? What are the applications?
Yeah, this is where you really see the impact. The source material points to things like much faster and, crucially, more accurate regulatory reporting. That's a big one for compliance.
Less manual consolidation pain there, I bet.
For sure. It also enables sharper fraud detection because you can easily correlate data across different systems, payments, user activity, whatever. You can spot anomalies much quicker.
Okay, faster reporting, better fraud detection.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, the financial close process, you know how painful that can be? Pulling numbers from everywhere, that becomes significantly more streamlined. And getting that true single view of the customer.
The customer 360 view.
Exactly. Pulling together sales data, support interactions, transaction history, it suddenly becomes achievable. And that directly fuels better financial analysis around things like customer lifetime value, profitability by segment, and so on.
That all sounds incredibly powerful. Faster reports, sharper fraud checks, smoother close, better customer insights. But is it really just plug and play? Like, turn on Fivetran and all this magic happens. What do the sources say about actually getting that ROI?
Yeah, that's a really crucial point they make. The automation is powerful, no doubt. But you don't just flip a switch and automatically win. The sources are pretty clear that success requires strategic groundwork.
Okay, so it's not just the tool.
Not at all. You need secure configuration.
Yeah.
For instance, ones that specifically align with your company's compliance rules and internal data policies. You can't just connect everything without thinking about security.
Right, makes sense.
And critically, you need skilled data professionals. People who really understand financial data, its nuances, and how to properly structure and model it after it lands in your warehouse. Maybe using tools like DBT on top of Fivetran so the data is genuinely ready for analysis, not just dumped there.
So for leadership, it's about having a clear plan, knowing which data sources matter most first, designing the data warehouse properly for performance, setting up the right governance.
Precisely. The tech is an enabler, a powerful one.
Yeah.
But achieving that ROI, it hinges on having the right strategy, the right people using the tool effectively, and ensuring it's all done securely within that strategic framework.
So thinking about this for you, the listener in your organization, if you're considering automated ELT for finance, or maybe just trying to get more value from the data systems you already have, the research really suggests you need to look hard at that strategic piece and the people component. Perhaps exploring, expert consulting or finding specialized implementation support could be part of making it successful.
Because ultimately, even with the most sophisticated automation, the success of any data initiative doesn't just boil down to the software you pick.
It really depends on the thinking, the strategy, and the expertise you bring to the table. Definitely something to chew on as you tackle your own data challenges.